Welcome back to the F1 2018 career mode here, guys, and you join me for my personal home Grand Prix, Season 2, the British Grand Prix. Last season, Season 1, didn't go too well. We were assassinated by Marcus Ericsson, but this year, with the improvements that we've made to the car and the improvements I think we've made to our own racecraft, we're going to be doing a hell of a lot better this time out. Points, definitely on the cards. Podium, well, we will have to see. But right now, obviously, Vettel leads the Drivers' Championship with ourselves in second position. We got a power upgrade, and it's scheduled to be overcast, classically British for this weekend. And we're building up those resource points because I'm going to invest in a huge power upgrade for later on in the season, which you can see here. We have got a major one on the cards. Hopefully, we'll be able to invest in that. Actually, we're going to invest in it right now, and that will come in place for Hungary. But now, let's get into qualifying.
Here we are then, waiting for the green lights to get qualifying underway for the British Grand Prix.
Speaking of qualifying for the British Grand Prix, we're going for our fastest lap. Now that faffing around showing you what I did earlier on in the session, here we go. Maximum commitment, max fuel mixture, hot lap mode, and we are going for it now immediately through the first sector and then coming up through the loop. You can see my best effort so far had netted me a solid 14th place, and I know that I personally am not the best around this track. Specifically, the first sector is very weak for me. The middle sector is where I tend to shine, but so far we're only about half a tenth down on our delta. But as we come across, you can see we're, well, that timing split has glitched. I have no idea where I'm in relation to provisional pole position, but now you see the delta going up because we've been much smoother through Woodland and then Luffield. Initially through the corner we were slow, but a much better exit as we now charge there through Woodcote Corner and on the way up to Cops. Here we go, blind turn and keep it absolutely planted. The back end tried to snap away from me mid-corner, but we just about kept it in check. And then we have the section of Maggots and Beckett's just being as absolutely committed as we could through the first couple of bits. I've ruined my line through Beckett's there as we come on now to the hangar straight. We're half a tenth down, but it's a purple middle sector on our qualifying lap. What have we got to be able to deliver in Stowe? Braking at about 75 metres. Keep it really tight. Use all the room on the exit as we now head up to the Vale chicane. Braking just at the 100-metre board. Try and get it slowed down. We've actually gone a little bit wide, so we take a huge chunk of curb. And on the exit, that compromises us a little bit. But charging towards the line, it puts us provisionally P5, which was our best effort for the session. Where does it put us on the grid for our home Grand Prix? We will find out tomorrow after our cool-down lap as we go in to the race on Sunday.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the top step of the modern podium today. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of the Silverstone circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, along with 2 DRS zones on the Wellington and Hangar Straights respectively. But the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about the captain. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hülkenberg, Max Verstappen, and Sainz, Ricciardo, the captain, Hamilton, and Valtteri Bottas, Magnussen, Gasly, Roman Grosjean and Alonso, Hartley, Van Dorn, Charles Leclerc and Lance Stroll, Ericsson and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Thank you for that one, Jeff. And you can see here, yes, we did drop to P8 by the end of the session, but we're still ahead of both Mercedes cars, who are struggling, considering that's where we want to be by the end of, ideally, this season. If their performance doesn't pick up, then who knows what will happen. But 26-lap race ahead of us there should be pretty straightforward in the aspect of softs to the mediums. No one really going to intend to use the hard compound tyre. We're going to take some additional fuel, and we're really going to push the car. I've run more aero than I normally do when I come to Silverstone, just because the car feels very, I don't know, through some of the high-speed corners. I mean, you saw it even in qualifying on the lower fuel. It really put the car out of sorts, and I did a lot of setup work considering how slow we were in Season 1. So hopefully we're going to alleviate that and get ourselves a good points total here today. Just see me going through sort of the setup. If you want to pause it to take any more information down, you are more than welcome to. But ambitions for this race, yeah, solid points. Perez is outperforming us at the moment, so we need to see what we can do versus him as he starts well up the order as we build with the lights. Fire are on for the British Grand Prix. Long hold, and lights are out, and away we go. Ricciardo getting away well at the start. Hamilton pulls past me, and Bottas is lost out to Magnussen off the start. We go through the first turn, keep it nice and wide, and then we pull to the right-hand side to see if we can make up any positions through the loop. That's exactly what we're going to do on Hamilton, and Ricciardo made a bit of contact there, as you could hear, but Raikkonen leads the Grand Prix, getting ahead of Vettel, then Perez into third. Hulkenberg fourth, Verstappen side by side with Carlos Sainz, and no, he just pulls ahead of the young Spaniard up to fifth. Sainz sixth, myself seventh, and we're defending from Ricciardo down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands now. And Ricciardo all over the back of me, but let's see what we can do. We've got a severe amount of horsepower in the back of this thing, and as you can see, there are cars scrapping away as Verstappen has made his way past Hulkenberg through Maggots and Beckett's, and that's going to put them on the back through their fighting. We tuck into the slipstream of Carlos Sainz, charge it down towards Stowe Corner. Can we make a move on the Renault man with our superior horsepower? Yes, we can. In fact, we can make a move on both Renault men as we surge past Sainz and Nico Hulkenberg up into fifth position there. Fantastic start, exactly what we needed, up from 8th into 5th. But now, unfortunately, one of the weak areas of the car and my personal driving style as well, traction. You can see down the Wellington Straight, Sainz in the slipstream. That Renault power unit is no slouch. He's on the inside of me into Woodlands. Can we try and keep it all the way around the outside? Yes, we can. That brings us the inside line into Luffield, and we're just going to push him out wide and prevent him from getting on the traction. And we got the message from Jeff there about rain. So Ricciardo has made his way past the Renaults. One of them is dropping back, quite frankly. So we've got Ricciardo in 6th. One of the Renaults there in 7th. We go wide because of the scrap we were having with Ricciardo into Copse to avoid an accident there. But yeah, one of the Renaults has lost out. Dropped down the field. Both Mercedes line astern. Ricciardo's going to have another go. Try and go round the outside of Stowe Corner. He came up so quickly with Slipstream and DRS there. And he's going to have another look at us potentially into Vale, putting us under huge pressure early in the Grand Prix, and Vettel now setting the pace with a 1:30.1. He's pulled ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, who is falling into the clutches of Perez, as here goes Ricciardo again down the inside of turn 1. Can we make the move stick? We go out wide, and that is unfortunately an illegal overtake. I did sort of figure while we were going through the scrap that move might have been questionable, even though all 4 wheels didn't quite go off the racetrack. We just about held the move versus Sainz, but now I personally think Ricciardo, because the Red Bull is much better in the corners than our Force India, he is going to scamp away, albeit we are a lap later and we're not looking too bad. I have, however, made a mistake and gone wide. That compromises my line through the left-hander, and that's going to put Sainz right on our tail as we go again wide over the curve. That's going to compromise our exit speed. We pull to the inside, so Sainz has to go the long way round. We've got a yellow flag, not sure what that's about, a VSC, and that's thankfully helped us defend against Carlos Sainz. Sorokin was out of the race. Meanwhile, you can see up the road there, the pink dot of Perez has got ahead of Raikkonen. In fact, Ricciardo was joined that by him. Verstappen is now ahead of him as well, but we're saving a little bit of ERS and a tiny bit of fuel on our way into the pits. We're making our one and only pit stop of the Grand Prix. We need to try and get it all slowed down, which we just about do on the way in. So Vettel is in, Ricciardo is in, we're in, Hamilton in. Oh no, sorry, is it? Oh no, it will be Hamilton in the pits because Bottas is coming round there. The long, slow pit lane of Silverstone. I'm pretty sure it's the longest one of the weekend. You can see everyone, same strategy, soft onto the medium tyres there. Rev it up 2.1 seconds for the Force India boys. A fantastic pit stop. And you can see now, look, we're going to be dropping all the way down the field. As here comes Marcus Ericsson, the guy who assassinated us last year. Thankfully, we're not going to be having any kind of on-track battles with him, hopefully. But Ricciardo resumes in 11th, we're 12th, Hamilton 13th. Then there's a Haas and McLaren, loads of other cars behind there, as well as one of the Renaults that appears to have fallen a long way back. And you can see there is some drizzle coming down now. I thought I saw some water kick up when I was in my pit box. So is the British weather going to intervene once again as we now come charging past the pits, back ahead of Bottas, back into 6th place, which is where we were earlier on in the Grand Prix. It looks as if Perez has retained position over the Red Bulls and Kimi Räikkönen, so he is up to P2, and he's really shining in this Force India at the moment. I don't know if it's, because my performance is inconsistent from track to track, whereas he is consistent on a regular basis, and this car really working in the hands of Sergio Perez. And look, you just see this rain continuing to come down. It's definitely not heavy enough for any kind of intermediate tyres at the moment there. Speaking of Perez, he's just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of a 30 flat, and then Räikkönen beats it with a 29.9, so Kimi still has some speed. What are we going to do as we cross the line? It's a 30.8, so we're 0.8 of a second off of the pace of our teammate in the same equipment, so that sort of puts it into perspective about my speed around my home Grand Prix. But not many Brits go well at their own home Grand Prix. So there we go, we get the message from Jeff again about the rain. But that being said, he did say it is light rain, and it is continuing to just be drizzle. We're getting a yellow flag. Max Verstappen is off the road. I don't think he's retired, but he's in the gravel trap there. I don't know if there's been some kind of scrap or incident. Annoyingly, I didn't get any kind of post-race replay cameras of that. So Verstappen obviously off at the side of the road. Must have had some damage. Sainz is now up to 6th, having got past the Mercedes guys. And Verstappen, who's nowhere in sight actually. Let's get an update on the weather.
We'll be seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the dry tyre, definitely the tyre to be sticking to. The rain just isn't heavy enough at the moment. I mean, in the lap times, you can see we've still done the personal best of a 30.7, and the rain's not really interfering with that for now. And I think if you went for the inters now, you would not really get much benefit, if any, out of them. In fact, it'd probably be more of a hindrance. So, and the tyre wear, none of them are up to 30% as of yet. So we just keep chugging along, really. At this phase of the Grand Prix, I was sort of on my own. I was quicker than the Renaults and the Mercedes behind me, but I was slower than the Red Bull and the Ferraris and Perez ahead of me. So I was just sort of keeping myself to myself, really, and unfortunately making a few mistakes.
These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
Yeah, so once again, getting an update on the weather. So I made a little bit of a mistake there, and Räikkönen has now dropped to P4. So considering he was the leader of the Grand Prix in the early phases, he's definitely fallen back a bit now. And you can see the rain is getting a little bit heavier on the screen, and the delta time and the split time certainly suggest it is getting near that point. I still personally don't think inters would get you any kind of benefit right now. See the tyre wear, it's all in check. It's purely down to the conditions, but with only 2 laps to go in the Grand Prix, no real difference is going to be made by making a switch to the tyres. Considering it's a 37-second pit stop as well, you're definitely not going to benefit, as we're down into the, well, we're up into the 34s rather, I should say. But we're going to come on for the final lap here, uninterrupted, of the British Grand Prix. So we're just going to ride on board. Rich fuel mixture, hot lap mode, corner cut at turn 1, all the usual stuff, as it were, as Räikkönen's got back ahead of Ricciardo. I'm just going to reflect really on the British Grand Prix. You see the car struggling to rotate in these conditions. So typical British weather to join us for the British Grand Prix, and obviously not really being able to tell, is it beneficial to be on dries, is it beneficial to be on wets? But you can just see the pace difference. I mean, Perez is going through Copse Corner now, so he's a solid 20-25 seconds ahead of me, and he has really outshone me here this weekend. That being said though, considering the performance to season 1 where we did not finish this race, I'm certainly quite happy that we're going to be able, by the looks of things, to bring it home in 5th position for 10 World Championship points. Because you've got to bear in mind, while we're second in the Drivers' Championship, when I joined this team, that's not exactly what I expected. I thought we were going to be having a battle with Renault all season long in the development race, but we have just shot off into the lead as we continue to focus on the development of the Mercedes engine in the back of this car, and that's really benefited us in the past, and it's really going to benefit us in the future. But Vettel wins the Grand Prix, and you can see, yeah, we're definitely slowing off now. So if this race was due to be a 100% race, we'd be swapping to inters within the next few laps, I would say. But yeah, with more power tracks coming, like Belgium, and Italy. You never know what's going to be in store for us here in the old Force India. But we're going to come across the line through the final corner of Club, and it's P5, our home race.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So, Vettel wins the Grand Prix from Perez, 6.6 seconds behind them. Raikkonen a few further seconds back. And like I said there, we finished in P5, 20 seconds behind our teammate Sergio Perez. That goes to show the difference on the tracks. Because on my day and on my track, I can beat Perez. But when I'm down on performance, Perez is going to show the true worth of this car. Raikkonen bring it home P3, 4 Ferrari. Ricciardo fighting to the end there. And I'm not too sure where Verstappen just fell off the face of the planet when he clearly had his incident. Bottas beats Hamilton to the flag, then Grosjean and Magnussen bringing it home for the top 10. So we move on over to the driver standings. Vettel leads the way, 181 points, 43 points clear of myself. Perez moves up to third in the driver standings at 115 points, so he's not too far off me. If he wins a race and I don't finish, that's going to be, or finish outside the points, that's Perez going to be ahead of me in the driver standings. And we are really driving up towards Ferrari in the constructors side of things, where you can see Ferrari 295 and Force India 253. So if both myself and Perez are on equal footing, that's going to be 43 points if we get first and second.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
I think it just goes down to what I said about the car being nimble and light and really putting the work in that we worked on this weekend.
Do you think your rival learned from his battle with you?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think he learned that the Force India is now the superior car.
You had a close battle today, didn't you?
2 questions in a row about the same thing. Come on, Claire. I thought you were better than this.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
What collisions? Some light scrapes here and there. You know, it was nothing that can't really be too bad.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So here we go. It was sort of like the midway point of the season. I did just want to have a little look at this, the driver details page, so you can see here what's what so far over the course of our career. So obviously, you know, we're only in Season 2, no driver's title, no constructor's titles. We've earned 277 points over the course of our career with 2 race victories. They've both come, of course, this season with Austria and Canada. 1 pole position and 7 podium finishes all in all. Average finishing position is 6th. Average grid is 11th. That goes obviously to what I say about me being a better racer than I am a qualifier. 2 overall fastest laps with 1,204 laps driven, resulting in 4,355 miles. And we've joined 2 teams. It's only really when I looked at this screen, I was like, I'm only in Season 2, and you know, those laps and miles driven are sort of like my stats. I wonder where it's going to end up in the future, how we're going to be. You know, I'm aiming to get 4 seasons done for this game. I've done 3 for the past few, but I want to get 4 done for this game, so I really need to knuckle down, because I've only got about 6 months till the new one comes out, and I'm only halfway through Season 2, and I want to get 4 seasons done, so yeah, we really need to focus on that. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and comment any feedback down below. If you want to be kept up to date with the content coming to the channel, remember to hit that subscribe and enable them notifications. So I've been streaming recently. I want to get more back into the sort of like the variety of content that I do, and just more sort of making, not just making the F1 stuff, because I love making the F1 stuff, but I want to also make more things on other games that I enjoy. I've also been streaming more as well over on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see all my stream archives here. I also stream over on Mixer and Twitch. That's twitch.tv/iPsychoenigma. It's exactly the same as the YouTubes. And over on Mixer, that's mixer.com/psycho_enigma_x, because it mirrored it off my Xbox gamer tag. So if you want to drop me follows over there, would really appreciate it. And yeah, next time out we're going to the German Grand Prix. You saw me really hard charging there last season. So let's see what we're going to do at the German Grand Prix next time out. I will see you all next time.